Persistence, like the pioneers, doesn't pay off anymore. Let me explain. I was in the shower one day and I was just so happy that I was able to have a shower with hot water coming out. And I sat there thinking about the poor pioneers who were my ancestors crossing the plains, and they didn't have hot showers. And some of them had to really suffer through the bitter cold, especially those who got caught in the winter storms. And it seems like every time I would step into the shower, I would think about the poor pioneers and how glad I am that I didn't have to be a pioneer, at least not yet, and that I had hot water. And I started to realize this actually doesn't work for me to get into the shower and just feel all this sadness and gratitude for the pioneers every time I hop into the shower. That's actually kind of like living in their suffering and their persecution. So I decided to let that go, to say, I'm going to get into the shower and I'm going to so enjoy this hot water just because I enjoy it, not because I didn't have to be a pioneer. And so I wiped that free and said, okay, I am just going to be grateful now just for hot water, period. And then I heard someone talking about, this is a new energy. We're in a new energy of not having to try and having to persist so hard anymore. We don't need to beat ourselves up, to push ourselves to the extremities, to be a worthy and faithful person. We're in the energy of doing what matters the most, in the energy of what works for us, instead of just pushing something so hard. I have a tendency to push and push and push myself. And it used to be that I would say, well, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And then I came up with a new mantra, and that was, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger, yet you'll probably get burnt out. What doesn't kill you burns you out. If you think about how tension and pushing yourself to such extremes affects you physically, it really can hit so many areas of problems when we are in tension and trying to push something so hard. We have digestive problems, immune system problems, muscular, cellular, cardiovascular, respiratory, mental, memory issues. And eventually, I think it even leads to cancer and degenerative diseases to have this tension in our body. Think about a cell that normally is round and full and happy. And when you are tense, your cells would tighten up more and thus be pushing out some of its life force. And then you are more tense all around. And then you have headaches, fertility issues, even libido, weight, headaches, addictions, all this from too much pushing, too much straining. I think about that scripture that says, be still and know that I am God. It doesn't say push, push, push like the pioneers until you are burnt out. It says to be still and know that I am God. There's also a quote that I like, let go and let God. All things shall work together for your good, for those that believe in God. I'm kind of paraphrasing Romans 8. I've also heard that worry is a form of atheism, meaning you don't trust God. You worry so hard that you think that you're worrying and you're pushing, persisting in your mental worry is going to make things better. Yet then you're really showing that you're not believing in God and His plan for you. So what can we do instead of push? And I have to say, some personalities really kind of need a push. There's some people that I know that they say, I go stir crazy. If I can't be doing something, it's harder than just sitting there and doing nothing. There are some personalities I truly do believe that need to push. Yet then the rest of us feel like we have to be doing what they're doing to be valuable and successful. But we don't. If you can just calm yourself down and realize, am I the kind of person that needs to push forward? Or am I more of a sit back and let things happen and it's going to be okay kind of person? I also believe that we need both. There's the yin and the yang. Yin is an inward, relaxed, inward focused energy that helps you to intuit things and to know what's going on with you inside. And then the yang is an outward pressing energy, and it's the push forward, maybe sportsy and outward expression. And we all need both. But I think that some people need more of that outward yang, and some people need more of the yin. I happen to be a more yin person, but there are some times where I know I got to go do something, or I'm going to go stir crazy. So I do allow myself that good 30 minutes of exercise, that adventure every now and then that I need, that keeps me happy too. So we need both. But I know for one that I have pushed myself way too hard and then come up with burnout. For example, I used to try to do the landscaping around our house perfectly. And I'd try to make sure there were no weeds. And I would try to just work through the hot sun and through the wind and through all the elements. And finally I realized I don't have to do any of this. It doesn't make me a more valuable person. I could be inside the house reading a book and I'm okay. And now when I think about doing the garden and the landscaping, I have to really focus my energy to be able to say, I can go do this, instead of feeling that burned out feeling that I used to always push myself with. I can now say, I will listen to something while I'm doing this, and if it gets too hard, I'm going to stop. If it gets too hot, I don't have to do it. I think so many people don't realize their limits. They don't realize where that point is where they have to say, you know what, I'm going inside now. I'm done. I don't need to push myself this hard. I don't need to be a burnout victim. So what else can we do? If we have this tendency to push when we really don't need to, well, we can find social and mental support. It's so helpful when other people can help you see what your brain is doing and just say, oh wait, you don't need to do that. Just come kick back with us. Let's go have some fun. We can have physical support. Good food, exercise, rest, taking care of our body so we don't feel like we have to push to be valuable. We have spiritual support where we can pray, do things religiously, talk to God, read our scriptures, be of service, so that we can know those limits of what we can do and also how it feeds us back. So many ways that we can find support outside ourselves, but we just have to accept it and go for that support, whether we realize that we are there yet or not. Sometimes you just need to stop and say, do I need to stop doing what I'm doing and have others help me and myself help me? And that's another thing that you can do, is to listen to your heart, to be able to say, do I really need to push myself? I remember one time someone asked me to bring cookies somewhere. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make 4 different kinds of cookies. And I started thinking of the 4 different kinds of cookies I could make. And I started kind of feeling overwhelmed, but I thought, well, this will be cool and they'll be really impressed. And I will seem like I am this really awesome person if I can bring 4 different kinds of cookies. Then I sat down and I started to feel that burnout, that overwhelm. And I thought, is this really what I should be doing? I went inside myself, went into the heart. They say the longest journey is the 12 inches from your head to your heart. So I got out of my head and all that planning for the cookie making and went to my heart and said, is this really what I should be doing? And guess what heart said? Heart said, just make a big batch of Rice Krispie bars and call it good. And I was like, can I do that? Is that okay? Okay, I'll do that. I made a big old batch of Rice Krispie bars, stuck some M&Ms in the top, enough that it was going to be adequate. It wasn't my 4 batches of different kinds of cookies, but everyone was perfectly happy. Who doesn't like Rice Krispie bars with M&Ms stuck to the top? It's perfect. So listen to your heart. Listen to the spirit. God's spirit will oftentimes say to me, you don't need to make it so hard. Stop trying so hard. Just take it easier. We don't need to push it so hard. The old energy was push, push, push. Maybe even your parents' generation was, you have to push, 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 work hard, work hard, work hard. We work smarter. We go inside, we listen to our heart, we listen to the spirit, and then go forth. I know that this will help you in many ways, physically, like we already talked about, mentally, socially, financially, spiritually. So don't persist like the pioneers. You don't need to anymore. And if you would like more of this way of talking about self-care, I have a program called Honeydew Health in 91 that you can find at www.honeydewhealthin91.com, which is a 91-day app-based program where we take you from the beginning of health to a sustainable, good health that makes you feel better through good food choices, through moving your body better, and through, like we talked about, that self-care so you can be your best self. I'll see you there.